Hi. So I'm gonna be talking about the number 222 or the number 22. Today is the 22nd day of July, and so I'm gonna talk to you about 22. So 22, the 22nd letter in the alphabet is V. So 22 naturally is a number that is connected to the planet Venus. Venus starting with the letter V. V also connecting to Virgo. Virgo being the perfectionist. The angel number, master number, whatever you want to call it, 22 is the master builder, which is derived from Hiram Naboth, the one that built Solomon's temple, which really was a demon that Solomon had summoned. So basically, or if you want to believe that, the number 22 is the number of symmetry. It's the number of building. In Masonry, the 22nd degree connected to Hiram Naboth, and the master builder, the cornerstone of the building. So when 22 is also a number of promiscuity, it's the number of the divine dark feminine. '22 would be tied to Lilith, Adam's first wife, and it would be tied to the divine dark feminine. 22 would also be tied to the goddess Kali, Kali Ma. Or Ma Kali. 22 would also be tied to, or 222 would also be tied to Libra and the scales of justice. Hence, 2 being two sides of a scale, the good and the bad, measuring. Also, when you're building, you need to master balance, master symmetry. If you're seeing the number 222, it may mean that you are in a phase in your life of building. Whether it's in the gym, if you're becoming a body builder, body, B being the second letter of the alphabet, builder, B obviously, so BB 22. BB Baby Doll, which is the Brazilian funk music artist. You can connect that to the divine dark feminine. She built her career over an incredibly long period of time and blew up with one song. If you're seeing 22, I don't want to say this, but it's like, I don't want to sound like a jerk, but it's like the number of like the hoe. Kind of, it's like a hoe number. When you're going through like your hoe phase type of thing, and I don't want to be like rude about that, but there's a security van like patrolling, and I don't want them to, if they get in the video, it's because they're just being, what are they, like a mall cop. I'm at the outlets right now, but so 22, if you're seeing 22 a lot, you're building something, or you're going through like a phase of promiscuity. 22 is a number where in your life, when you're 22 years old, you're at a stage where you're building the rest of your life. You're building into your 30s, the person you'll become. And it's usually 22 is if you graduate like at 18 and you go to like a 4-year school, then you're going to graduate when you're 22, and you've built an education. You've built a foundation for the rest of your life. When you see 22, try and remember balance. Balance being the first letter being B, B being the second letter. Think of balancing balance. Balance is something that you need to balance as well. Like what I'm doing now. I can't do this all of the time, this habit, because I will build a habit. I will build something that can tear away at me. Also, perfectionism. So when you're building something, when Hiram Naboth was building Solomon's Temple, he built it to perfection. Perfection being related to Virgo. So build things to perfection, but keep in mind that things don't have to be perfect all of the time. A good example of 22 would be birth, would be the actual form, or a good example or metaphor for Virgo would be the act of giving birth. Giving birth, if you've never witnessed it, it is the most beautiful, chaotic event that you can witness. It is bloody, bloody bee, and it's a beautiful, beautiful event, but it is extremely messy. So in that perfectionism, in that act of perfection of creating a life, of giving birth, things aren't gonna look perfect. So if you're building a relationship, if you're building a career, there are going to be phases in that process that are going to be messy and bloody, and you don't necessarily need things to be perfect right when you're building them throughout the entire process. 22 is also a combination of 11. So 11 plus 11 is 22. 11 being the master number of emotions, 22 being the master builder of emotions as well. So someone that is able to masterfully build emotional connections with people, emotional development, whether you're a leader or someone that is able to develop someone's character through your mastery of emotions. If the first letter of your name is V, as in like Victoria, or as in like Vincent, or whatever, Venus, it's ironic. Today is actually, I'm pretty sure, Venus Williams is playing a match or something, and she's the underdog, or I believe. So people are like betting against her, and it's something where, so like the mainstream subconscious, the meta of today, 22, is Venus, is perfectionism. Are people going to bet against perfection? Are they going to balance perfection? And that's all things that you can work through. And 22 would also be a number that brings a lot of work. A lot of work. 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 is a number of work, of stability. The 4 legs on a table, if you removed one of the legs, the table will topple over. 4 is a number of man, of the force of man, of the force of stability, of burden. It's a number of burden. So when you're building, you will need form. You will need to have somehow, some shape or some manner of perfection in your form. When you're going to the gym and you're building your body, you need to focus on your form. So while you're in this process of building, focus on your form. Focus on the work. Focus on the task at hand. And 222, if you're seeing it on a clock or something repeated in your life, or if you're seeing 22, channel your divine feminine, channel your divine builder. Yeah, it's a pretty beautiful day today. Beautiful bee. Bees, in a way, to bees themselves, B-E-E-S, E being the fifth letter of the alphabet, so E-E being 5-5, so 2-5-5 would be a metaphor for building vibrations. 5 is a vibrational number. It's a number of good vibrations, bad vibrations, vibrations of change. And bees themselves, they pollinate, but they have a stinger. So during this process of building, master your stinger, master your ability to channel the beauty in battle, the beautiful battle that you're going through. Yeah. That's gonna be it. There's more I could say, but that's gonna be it for right now. I was drawing a blank B. So 22 is also about having a blank slate, having a blank foundation, somewhere where you can build. The cornerstone of a building, the first stone, is the foundational stone. It's something where you can decide how and where you're going to place this stone. So take 22 also as a blank slate, as somewhere or a message that you are at a point in life where you're able to build from blank, from nothing. And yeah. Okay. And then, like, you know, when you're like in a fight or like you're fighting someone, and then like you know exactly what you would have done had you thought of the better thing to do. Like, imagine like you're boxing, and everything I'm saying that like starts with the letter B, like connect that to the number 22. But so I just got out of Best Buy, BB. I needed to get a like flash drive for all these videos, and I price matched because I found a better price or a better bargain, and then I donated to the brighter, better, or building brighter futures thing at Best Buy. And then like all these things like is really heavy 22 energy, and this gimbal is like being weird. I'm still learning how to do all this stuff, but when you're building a brighter future for yourself and you find a better bargain energy wise, or just genuinely, like if you're moving out and you find that moving out on your own is going to be too expensive, and you see that moving out with a friend is going to be a better path for you, then learn how to balance that type of change. And if you are a life path 2, then this life, this incarnation is going to be about balance. It's going to be about balancing everything. Your bank balance, BB, your balance of beauty, maintaining a beautiful balance, maintaining beautiful habits versus bad habits, and balance. So those are things I wanted to touch on, because I've thought of them after I made that second clip. But yeah, and then like but as well. So like but would be like, as far as like an animal would be like an ass, be like a donkey. So don't be like an ass, don't be a donkey, on like 2 energy if you're like a 2 life path. And bye, like just saying bye to people, like saying bye and balancing like your emotional checkbook, your emotional balance as well. So like knowing when to say bye, knowing when to bifurcate ideas or people, or disassociate a friend from your life or your sexuality, becoming bi. All of these things are 2 energy. So bye.